My name is James Van Dyke, and I'm going to introduce our program and our partners and our team. If I could have the next slide, please. So first off, I just want to talk about our partners. These are the organizations that are involved in this project. We've been lucky enough to have this project supported by a grant from the Australian government. It's a federal citizen science grant that's given us the ability to do this. And we represent a group of both academics and community organizers. And we're also supported by the Australian Reptile Park and the South Australian government. Next, please. And the academic team is myself, James Van Dyke. I'm from La Trobe University. I've been working on turtles for over 15 years, both here in Australia and in the US. Ricky Spencer, who's at Western Sydney University, and Deb Bauer, who's at the University of New England. So we put this grant together along with a few other folks. If I could have the next slide, please. Mike Thompson, who's emeritus professor at the University of Sydney, Anthony Santoro, Don McKnight, Jenna Condi, and Willem Rosenberg. And next slide, please. And our program coordinators and support are Gita Ortak, Dr. Sylvia Clark, and Courtney Monk. So that's our team. And now I just want to talk about the basis for our program, why we're doing what we're doing. Hopefully everybody here is interested in turtles, and that's why you've come. And you're probably aware of some of the fate that turtles are facing right now. So if I could have the next slide, please. Our Australian freshwater turtles are facing a bit of a crisis. So we have about 25 species, and of those, 11 are listed as vulnerable, threatened, or endangered. So that's about 44% of all of our species, and even the ones that are doing okay that aren't listed are still facing a number of additional threats that are potentially putting them at risk of extinction. So if we look here on this slide, we've got the fox in the middle representing our invasive predators. Both foxes and pigs eat a lot of turtle nests, and in some places they may be they are eating so many nests that we don't get any hatchling turtles entering the system. And so as that happens, as the older turtles die of old age or other causes, then those juveniles, the lack of those juveniles mean they're no longer replaced. And so our populations can disappear very quickly. The adult turtles also face threats. On the left, we've got a broad-shelled turtle that's been struck on a road. So car strikes are a really major source of mortality for adult turtles as they move overland to nest or between wetlands. And more recently, we've started to see the appearance of novel diseases, like we've got on the right, the Bellinger River sawshell turtle, showing the symptoms of the Bellinger River virus, which is a new virus that came up in 2015 and knocked that entire species almost to extinction on its own. And then we also have things like human habitat modification represented by the dam there. And things like drought, which are eliminating or reducing the availability of habitat for these turtles. So they face a number of threats. So a few other things too, like carp, which compete for them for food and change the wetlands. But the good news is, and the reason why we're here, is that there's still time to do something. So none of our turtles have gone extinct yet. Some of them are still present in relatively good numbers, even if they're declining and even if they're threatened. And so that gives us a bit of breathing space, and that gives us time to actually do some things to try to help save them. And what we want is to try to recruit as many people as we can from the community, because we need your help. We think that there's a lot of things that people can do to help save these animals. And to give you some ideas on that and some of the history behind the program, I'm going to turn it over now to Ricky Spencer.
Hey everybody, thank you for coming along. I want to talk to you about a project that we started quite a few years ago now, back in 2015, called TurtleSat. As biologists, as zoologists, we've been working, this team, a large section of this team had been working on freshwater turtles and looking at their decline. But it wasn't until we went talking to people and to see how extensive that was. So we came up with the idea of what we call TurtleSat. And so essentially what we were looking at is the citizen science tool when apps was really starting to come out, to essentially get people involved and get people to actually record, their sightings, to actually see how extensive the problem is. So I think we can move to the next slide. Sorry, I'm standing at the reptile park here, and Tim Faulkner will be talking in a minute. I can't see the slides, but basically what I want to talk to you about is essentially where we're heading to with TurtleSat. TurtleSat's now been upgraded, so you can download the TurtleSat app and you'll get a completely different experience. And that went live probably about 30 minutes ago. So please download the TurtleSat app now. Go to your App Store or Google Play and download TurtleSat. So what we're looking for you to do, and what we now see as part of this Million Turtles program, is that TurtleSat's the gateway. TurtleSat gets you in, gets you, excited about turtles, helps the scientists actually look where the problems are in terms of road mortality, in terms of Nespredation, also in terms of early signs of disease, which are, a major threatening process for many of our turtles. But what we want to do is that TurtleSat now is actually going to grow, and it's growing into the 1 Million Turtles program. And the 1 Million Turtles program is what we want to do is turn citizen scientists into active community conservationists. So I'm going to leave it here now. I want you to download TurtleSat. I want you to get involved in Turtle Month, which is today. Today starts Turtle Month. Today is where you will see turtles out and about. It's a great time of year to experience wildlife, but it's also the most critical and most dangerous period time of year for freshwater turtles. So please, I'm going to hand it back to Van and he can move on to it, but please download TurtleSat.
Thanks, Ricky. And I'm actually going to hand it on to Deb now. Thanks.
Thanks, Van. So the really cool thing about 1 Million Turtles is that it's designed so that everybody can get involved. We have got lots of different projects, next slide, with different options for people to cater to different levels of commitment, different levels of interest, different age groups and levels of education. And so we wanted to create ways in which the casual observer could contribute to turtle science and conservation, but also the diehards can get in and do lots of work, and there's lots of different options for involvement. Next slide. So for Turtle Month, which is November, we'd really love everybody getting out there and looking for signs of turtles. We call November Turtle Month because it's the month in which turtles nest in the highest densities. As the rains come in, as it gets warm, turtles will come out of the water and dig their little nest chambers and lay eggs inside. And so you might come across a turtle, a big female turtle laying her eggs or on her way to lay her eggs. You might come across a raided turtle nest or some turtle tracks. You might see some turtles on a logs. All of these are really good opportunities for you to log that turtle sighting, and then we can use that data to look at where different turtle species are, what they're doing, the threats that are threatening them, such as introduced species and roadkill. Next slide. For people who want to practice their turtle skills, the Australian Reptile Park has set up a turtle hub. And so if you want to take your kids along, if you want to practice using TurtleSat, you can go along and you can learn more about turtles, you can see them up close, and you can experience all their little cute eccentricities. Next slide. We also have a national Nespredation survey. And so for people who are interested in doing a little bit of science, we're going to have the opportunity for you to go out and dig a hole, pop some eggs in it and see what predates it. Turtles face different levels of predation in different areas. Some people control foxes, some areas don't. There's different habitat. Up north, pigs are a problem. In other areas, bandicoots will get the nests. And so we're really interested to see how all these different nest predation rates vary across the country. And so in a really simple, easy method, you can go onto the website and check out how you can help us in this national predation survey. Next slide. We're also trying to expand on our Turtles in Schools program. So Ricky Spencer has been working with schools raising turtles for years, and we'd like to get more schools involved in conserving turtles and getting those turtles into the classroom so the kids can see them up close and really connect with those animals. And so in this way, we can get more baby turtles out into the environment and also give kids the chance to get up close and personal and experience the joy of turtles. Next slide. Last but least, we have our on-ground community initiatives. So if you're in a dead king community, if you're a landowner and you've got turtles on your property, or if you've got a wetland near you, there's a couple of ways you can get involved. People can protect individual nests. So when a turtle comes up and lays its eggs, we can pop some wire over that nest. And mesh nests, mesh wire covers are big enough that the hatchlings can get out, but hard enough that the foxes can't get in to predate on those nests. Or taking that to the next level, there are designer nesting beaches where we've developed floating islands that can go out into turtle habitat and then create an environment where the turtles can nest, but the foxes can't get to. So there's many different ways you can get involved depending on how keen you are and how much time you've got. And if you hop on the website, you can check that out. Thanks, Van.